You can feel vibration in your throat. The same thing for T and D. You won't feel any vibrations, whereas duh, you will feel vibration. No vibration, there's some vibrations. Now, T seems like a pretty easy sound for a lot of people, but there may be some issues if you're trying to sound like a native speaker, and we'll address those in that today. So I want you to listen in and see how many different T sounds you can hear when I read these sentences with a natural American accent. Tim's kitten wanted to eat butter. Sutton can't stay late on Tuesday. Winter nights are long in Great Britain. So one more time, we'll take a poll. So try to write down how many different sound versions of T you can hear. So one more time. Tim's kitten wanted to eat butter. Sutton can't stay late on Tuesday. Winter nights are long in Great Britain. All right, so I'll go back. I'll launch a poll and we'll take a vote on how many different T sounds you actually heard there. Did you hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's all over the place. A lot of voting. All right, a few more seconds and then I'll end the poll once we hit about 200. Yeah, so it looks like people heard 3 sounds. There's actually about 5 to 6 different T sounds in American English. Some are more clear than others. 6 if we count the silent T. So now I'm going to read those same sentences and I'm going to pronounce them with the regular T sound. So they all had the same T sound. And then I'll repeat again with a natural accent. And you can really hear the difference. Tim's kitten wanted to eat butter. Sutton can't stay late on Tuesday. Winter nights are long in Great Britain. So something else you might notice is that it sounds very choppy. And the reason that is that when we speak English, it's very fluid and the sounds will blend together. And the blending will alter the T sound, but it also makes it sound much more fluid. So if you say it with a regular T, it's going to be really, really choppy. So the question is, how many sounds are there? What are they? And is it important? So these are the 5 sounds that you'll hear in English. The aspirated t, as in top, table, atomic, cats, center. A softer aspirated T in stop, stable, string. A held T, which is like the air isn't released, so it sounds much softer. Cat, coat, plate, pass, basket. The flap T, which sounds like a D. Atom, city, 40, kettle, matter, bottom. And then the glottal T, which is a sound in your throat, actually. Button, kitten, satin, sentence. The question of whether it's important, unlike vowels, you don't actually have to say the different T sounds perfectly to be understood. You can use the regular T for every single T and you'll be understood and you'll work perfectly fine. But it does help you for listening comprehension when you're listening to a native speaker to be able to recognize the different sounds that the native speaker actually is saying a T. And it also helps you if you want to change your pronunciation to be a little bit more native sounding, a little bit less choppy sounding and more fluid. So we're going to start with the easiest one first, and that's the regular T sound, the t, t, t. This T is at the start of a word or stressed syllable. It comes before an S or after an N After an S, it's a little bit softer, but it's basically at the start of a word, you're going to hear this sound. Now, the way that you make this is your tongue will touch the roof of your mouth right behind your teeth. So if this is your teeth, your tongue is going to be right here. I don't know if you can see that. So when you touch the roof of your mouth, you're going to stop the air from going out, and then you bring your tongue down and release the air in a puff. So ta, ta, ta. To me, it sounds a little bit like the cymbal in the instrument, the cymbal. So one more time. Ta, ta, ta. If you put your hand in front of your mouth, you should be able to feel that air coming out. So ta, 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 as if you're blowing out a birthday candle. So for practice, I will say it first and then repeat to yourself. You don't have to unmute yourself. Just listen to me say it and try to repeat by yourself at home. T, tie, two, oh sorry, toe, two. The next line, tame, team, time, tone, tune. And let me know in the comments if you need more time between the words. The next, these are the clusters. They might be a little bit harder for you to say, but try to follow along. Trap, trek, trip, trod, troop, twang, 12, twin, twine. All right, so for the tongue twister, we can take about 2 to 3 volunteers. So anybody who feels confident that they can, they want to try these lines, just let me know. Raise your hand or write your name in the comments, and we'll unmute you and allow you to sing it. So I'll say it first, and then you can try. It looks like Dao, Tran, and Hiep are first. So everybody listen in, and then I'll give Dao the try to do line 1. 2 twins tied twine on 12 teachers' tents. All right, so Dao, you can try the first line.
Hello?
Yep, you want to go ahead and try line 1?
Okay. 2 twins tied twine on 12 teachers' tents.
Perfect. All right, let's try Tran. All right, Tran.
I'm here. Hello?
Yep. Hi, we can hear you. Go ahead and try the tongue twister.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. 2 twins tied twine on 12 teachers' tents.
Perfect. All right, last one. Yep. All right, you can. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, so try the tongue twister.
2 twins tied twine on 12 teacher tents.
Perfect. All right, so that was great. All right, so we're moving on. So a little bit harder. These are the STs. So the S will just soften the T when you're saying it. So listen and then repeat to yourself for lines 1 through 5. O, toe, stow, R, tar, star, able, table, stable. And if it helps you, you can draw out the S sound before going into the T. Sometimes that makes it a little bit easier to say the consonant cluster. Rip, trip, strip, wrap, trap, strap. All right, so the next two lines, they're not a tongue twister, but just easy practice. So listen to me say the line, and then I'll take a few volunteers. Star, step, stop, study, stoop, strange, street, strip, or sorry, stripe, strong, strung. All right, so raise your hand or write your name in the comment box if you're interested in trying. So we only have enough time for a few people. All right, so Fat, do you want to try line 1?
Yes, hello.
Hi, we can hear you. Go ahead and try the first line.
Yeah. Star, step, stop, study, stoop.
Perfect. That was great pronunciation. All right. Yep. All right, Hung, you want to try line 2?
Oh, of course. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Strange, street, stride, strong, strong.
Perfect. All right, everyone's pronunciation is really great. Just for the interest of time, we're gonna move forward. I wanted to point out one interesting phenomenon. You don't have to actually remember this, but Rachel's English had an interesting video about how the R sound after a T will kind of change it to a CH sound. So, or a T and an R together might sound like a ch sound. So instead of saying treat, it might sound like treat. And the reason is just the shape of the lips when you're making an R sound. We won't go into it now, but feel free to check out that video if you want to learn more. She has a lot of interesting content. So we're going to move on to the held T, which is, I think, a little bit harder of the sounds, not the hardest, but a little bit harder. So the hard T is created when we don't release the air. So if you put your hand in front of your mouth and say the word, you shouldn't feel the air hitting your hand. You're kind of swallowing the T. You start the T sound and you just don't release. So cat, coat, late, past, basket. So you might feel in the beginning, especially for past and coats, the C sound, the k sound and the p sound, you'll feel the air hit your hand. But for the T, it won't be released. And the reason is just we're dividing in between the words. You're finished saying the word, so you'll hold the sound. So the held T happens when it's the final sound in a word or syllable, and especially if the next sound starts with a consonant, because you're gonna have to break between those two words. So see if you can hear the difference between the voiced and the voiceless sounds when they're held at the end. So bat, bad, tap, tab, back, bag. So it's going to be a little bit harder to hear the difference between a T and a D, a P and a P and a B, and a K, a K sound and G sound when they're held, because they're not fully produced. But one thing that'll help you tell the difference is the length of the vowel. Because, like I said, you're stopping the airflow and not releasing it, those words are going to be really, really short. So bat, tap, back are said very quickly, whereas bad, tab, bag are longer vowels, longer sounds, because you're fully saying the voice sound. All right, but I want to emphasize that the held T, you are pronouncing a sound. You're starting the T sound, you're just not fully releasing it. And it is actually, there is some pronunciation there. So listen in between no T, a T sound, and then a D sound, and see if you can more clearly hear the difference. Gray, great, braid. So you hear the length in the vowel, as well as there is some sort of sound. The sound gets cut off by the T. All right, so for the rest of them, repeat after me at your home. Keep yourself mute though, so there's not a sound disruption. Gray, great, grade, bat, bat, bad, gnaw, not, nod, bill, built, build, fell, felt, felled, ow, out, last, last, eat, my, might. So it's a little blurry, but hopefully you can see it. Here's a longer practice. I'll say a line and then repeat to yourself at home. And then maybe for the last few lines, I'll take some volunteers. So for lines 1 through 5, I'll first say it and then repeat at home. And then we'll take volunteers for 6, 7, and 8. I might not do that. It's not that great. He built that website last night. It felt quite hot in Vermont. What? That can't be right. All right, so for 6 through 7, do we have any volunteers who want to try? Just raise your hand or write in the comments. All right, so Peter, if you want to.
All right, so number 6, right?
Yep.
Okay. Mark went out for a bite to eat.
Perfect. That's great. All right, next, Fab, if you want to try number 7.
Yes, shall I start now?
Yep, go ahead.
Yes. That apartment felt quite hot.
Perfect. That's great. All right, and then my Tra, do you want to try number 8?
Yeah, I'm here.
All
Okay.
right, try number 8.
Yeah, I drew number 4.
Oh, you want to do number 4? That's okay.
Yeah, it felt quite hot in the Vermont.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Wow,
thank
you
you.
guys, yeah, great. You guys are doing great. So it seems like the held T is easier than I thought. I thought Either that or you guys are amazing students. So one of the few times that the held T is actually going to interrupt or cause confusion is can and can't. Because in spoken speech, it's going to sound really, really similar. Now, the main difference to tell them apart is going to be sentence stress. So in English, not only does a word, like depending on the syllable, have stress, but also will emphasize certain words in the sentence for meaning. So particularly like verbs, specific nouns like proper nouns, names, anything that's not grammar. So pronouns and modal verbs, including can, won't be stressed unless it's necessary information. When is it necessary? When you're saying you can't, right? So can't is going to be emphasized. I can't go. That's necessary information for the sentence. Whereas can is considered a helping verb, so it's not stressed. Now, what happens in a stressed sound is it's said very clearly. And the easiest example of this is the word banana. So we don't say banana. We don't stress every single syllable. We only stress the middle one, banana, right? You can hear it. It's said a little bit louder, a little bit longer, and the vowel and the consonant are pronounced clearly, banana. So what happens to the unstressed sounds? They're said softer, shorter, and a little less clear. Now, what that means for the vowels is they often will get a relaxed vowel. So it might be an the schwa sound, or it can also be an I sound. And that's what happens with can. So when can is not emphasized, it's not stressed in the sentence, we'll actually pronounce it like kin. So listen to the sentences and see if you can hear the difference a little bit more clearly. I can go. I can't go. I can trust him. I can't trust him. So one more time, listen to the vowel sound. I can go. I can't go. I can trust him. I can't trust him. So the vowel is going to be the kin versus the the very clear can't. So this one's just going to be a listening activity. So take out your pencil and your paper and then write down just like 1 through 7 and can or can't, and try to see which sound that you hear. Am I saying kin, like the unstressed kin sound, or am I stressing it and saying can't, the very clear sound? All right. So number 1, I can't call you tomorrow. I can't call you tomorrow. I'll try not to shake my head. That's good. That's a giveaway. All right, number 2. I can't watch you. I can't watch your children tonight. One more time. I can't watch your children tonight. Number 3. She can meet with me today. She can meet with me today. Number 4. He can't come to the party. He can't come to the party. Oh, sorry, I read the wrong one. Number 4, he can't make an appointment tomorrow. He can't make an appointment tomorrow. Number 5, I'll reread. He can come to the party. He can come to the party. Number 6, I can be there on time. I can be there on time. And number 7, Phil can drive tonight. Phil can drive tonight. So easy or hard, what did you think? Was it easy to hear? So these were the answers, and I'll read it one more time, and then you can see if you were correct, and then you can see if you can hear the difference a little bit more clearly. So again, it's the difference between I and sounds. I can't call you tomorrow. I can't watch your children tonight. She can meet with me today. He can't make an appointment tomorrow. He can come to the party. I can be there on time. Bill can drive tonight. So it's helpful for understanding if you're able to pronounce that can and can't correctly. Now, lastly, held T between words. So when the next word starts with a consonant, we're for sure going to use a held T, and we're going to stop the sounds because it's two consonants together. So we're going to break them apart. So listen to how I say the sentences for 1 through 7. Listen first, and then we'll do listen and repeat. It was, can't go, didn't like, 8 weeks, might do, at work, won't need, budget cut. All right, so one more time. This time I'll say it and then repeat. It was, can't go, didn't like, 8 weeks, might do, at work, won't need, budget cut. And the same with a multi-syllable word that's when the T sound is at the end of the syllable, it might be held, especially if the next sound is a consonant. So football, football, outside, lately, lately, nightmare, nightmare, atmosphere, atmosphere, atlas, atlas, Atlanta, Atlanta, butler, butler. So just remember, between two words or between two syllables, when T is at the end of the sound followed by a consonant, it's going to be held. And that just makes it easier to say. All right, so the next one I think is a really easy version of T, and that's the flap D, the flap T. The flap T just sounds like a D sound. Now, why does it happen? So the flap D happens when the T is preceded by a voiced sound, and it's followed by a voice sound. When voicing comes before and after, it sort of moves the T into the D sound. Because remember, the only difference between T and D is that vibration in your throat. So when we're saying a voice sound before and after, the T ends up blurring into some of those sounds and getting some of that voicing and the vibrations from the previous sound and the next sound. And so it ends up sounding like a D. So whenever the flap T is between two vowels, because vowels have the vibration, they're voiced, or a vowel and a voiced consonant. So a vowel and an R, L, M, or any other voiced consonant. So the most common flap T's that you'll hear are in comparative superlatives. So repeat by yourself at home. Better, greater, smarter, neater, shortest, brightest, sweetest. So all you do is saying a D sound instead of a T. Again, so past tense, it's going to sound like a did. The last syllable will sound like did. Educated, excited, contributed, noted, completed, repeated. For the ing sound, when there's a double T, it's going to sound like ding with a D. So getting, putting, sitting, writing, eating, meeting. For ER, it sounds like der, writer, waiter, batter, voter, babysitter, heater. And the last really common one is nouns ending in ity. It sounds like id, quality, activity, ability, gravity. All right. So the one time that the flap T is necessary for comprehension is numbers. So listen in and see if you can hear which one's a flap T and which one's a regular T. 13, 30, 14, 40, 15, 50, 16, 60, 17, 70, 18, 80, 19, 90. So you should have heard that for any of the 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, it's going to have the D sound at the end. And that's because that syllable is not stressed. Now remember, stressing makes the word clear. The vowel and the consonant will be clear. Since it's not stressed, it's going to be kind of an altered sound. Whereas 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, the second syllable is usually stressed. So we're going to say the vowel and the consonant very clearly. It's going to be a teen. It's going to be the regular T. So repeat at home by yourself. 13, 30, 14, 40, 15, 50, 16, 60, 17, 70, 18, 80, 19, 90. So take out your pen and paper, and then 1 through 12, write down if you're hearing the teen, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, or 10, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. All right. Oops. Let me get my paper. All right. Many people in the US cannot wake up by themselves. About 19% depend on alarms. Number 2, in 2002, 17% of Florida's population was foreign born. Number 3, nearly 30% of parents in the US admit to doing their children's homework sometimes. Number 4, about 40% of people in the US have broken a bone. Number 5, in the US, about 15% of all PhD engineering students are foreign born. Number 6, around 50% of Americans describe themselves as shy. Number 7, in 1980, 12% of doctors in the US were women. In 2005, 30% were. Number 8, Friday the 13th is considered an unlucky date. Number 9, about 80% of North American men say they would marry the same woman again. Number 10, about 50% of all fatal two-car crashes are alcohol related. Number 11, in 1970, 18% of college freshmen in the US said their goal was to develop a meaningful life or philosophy of life. Number 12, in 2005, 70% of college freshmen in the US said their goal was to be well off financially. All right, so compare with your answers, and I'll repeat one more time and see if you can hear the difference between a t and a d. Many people in the US cannot wake up by themselves. About 19% depend on alarms. In 2002, 17% of Florida's population was foreign-born. Nearly 30% of parents in the US admit to doing their children's homework sometimes. About 40% of people in the US have broken a bone. In the US, about 15% of all PhD engineering students are foreign-born. Around 50% of Americans describe themselves as shy. In 1980, 12% of doctors in the US were women. In 2005, 30% were. Friday the 13th is considered an unlucky day. About 80% of North American men say they would marry the same woman again. About 50% of all fatal two-car crashes are alcohol-related. In 1970, 18% of college freshmen in the US said their goal was to develop a meaningful life philosophy of life. And in 2005, 70% of college freshmen in the US said their goal was to be well off financially. So hopefully that's easier to understand. Now the next really great tip is flap T between words. So this is really going to make your speech sound natural. It's called linking. So naturally, when the next word starts with a vowel, we'll sometimes steal the last consonant and put it on the next word. So remember previously we used the held T when the next word starts with a consonant and there's a clear break. For this one, the T becomes a D sound and moves to the next word. So first just listen to all the words that I'll say, and then we'll do listen and repeat at home. It is, try it on, at 11, what if, get up, eat out, wait a minute, put it off. So you'll sound, the second words and all of those should sound like, instead of is, it's diz, dawn, 11, diff, dup, doubt, duh, and dit. So now listen and then repeat. And remember to move the D to the next word. It is. Try it on. At 11. What if? Get up. Eat out. Wait a minute. Put it on. Put it off. All right, so now we'll practice in sentences. I'll say the first 5 and then we can take some volunteers. I'll eat it a little later. I'll eat it a little later. I bought an auto battery for $40. I bought an auto battery for $40. Peter wrote a better letter. Peter wrote a better letter. I'd better go to the meeting at 11. I'd better go to the meeting at 11. He met her at a computer store in Seattle. He met her at a computer store in Seattle. All right, so does anybody want to volunteer to try changing those T's into D's? All right, let's start with Trung.
It's a
All right, Trung, do
pity.
you want to try number 6?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. It's a pity that he's getting fatter and fatter.
Perfect, that was great.
Thanks.
All right, Simon? you want to try number 7?
Oh, okay. Tell the waiter to bring it a little later.
Perfect. So little is harder to say.
Yeah, a little.
Well, yeah, perfect. All right, Maita, do you want to do number
Yeah.
8?
I'm here. Yeah, thank.
Yep.
He bought a lot of powders of water.
Those ones are hard, especially with the linking. So the lot, right? Like the city, he bought a lot of bottles of water.
He bought a lot.
Yeah, perfect. All right, Jerry, do you want to try number 9?
Yes. Betty's knitting a little sweater for her daughter.
Perfect. All right, and then Min Hung, do you want to do number 10?
It'll be better if you heat it before you eat it.
Perfect. Great job. You guys sound natural. All right, so now this one's the super hard one. So it's one of the more popular tongue twisters in America. I'll just say it once, and then we can have maybe a volunteer to say like 1 line or 2 lines. All right. I don't know if I'll be able to say it because it's kind of a hard tongue twister. So Betty bought a bit of butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter will make my batter better. Then she bought a bit of butter, better than the bitter butter, made her bitter batter better. So 'twas better Betty bought a bit of butter, better butter. It's a little bit hard, but it entirely uses the flap T, so it's great practice, even for a native speaker. All right, so Maita, do you want to try the first line? Oh, you don't have to say the whole thing. Hi, Maita, do
Yeah.
you want to try the first line?
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Patty potted peanut butter.
Yeah, perfect. A great flap T's. All right, Fap, do you want to try the line 2?
Yeah. But she said this butter's bitter.
Perfect. Great. All right, 1 more and then we'll move on. All right, is it I don't know how to pronounce Zach? Sorry if I mispronounced.
Yes.
All right, perfect.
Betty bought a bit of butter.
Perfect. All right, great job. Yeah, so you can look that one up and practice. Now this is an actual normal speech. No tongue twister. All right, so repeat the line at home. This one includes regular T, held T, and flap T. So remember, sometimes when it has the little the linking symbol, we're going to move the D sound to the vowel on the next syllable. So repeat at home by yourself. Peter, what are you doing tonight? Nothing exciting, Betty. What about you? Well, Sally and I are meeting some students from our class at a restaurant downtown. Can you come? What time? Oh, about 8 o'clock. Sounds great. A lot better than eating at home. Thanks for inviting me. So if we remember the rules, whenever the T is followed by ST, or it's the first word in a syllable of sentence, syllable or word, it's going to be pronounced clearly. So tonight, student, restaurant, downtown, what time? We'll use the held T when it's the last sound of a word and the next word is a consonant. About, restaurant, great, a lot, at. And then the flap T gets shifted to D when it has a vowel before and after, and the D will move to the next word. So Peter, what are, exciting, Betty, what about, meeting, at about 8 o'clock, better, eating, inviting. All right. So the last one is the glottal stop. And this one I think is probably the most hard to produce, but there's no interruption in meeting. So if you use the regular T instead of a glottal T, it's perfectly fine. You'll sound a little bit British. That's it. But when you're listening to an American, for some sounds, it sounds completely different. So you might not understand what they're saying unless you can recognize it. So the glottal stop is the sound that occurs in your throat. It's similar to the sound you make when you say, uh-oh. So between the two words, uh-oh, the sound in your throat. So what happens is when it's followed by an N sound, the T will stop the air in your throat. And then instead of going out of your mouth, it'll go out your nose for the N. So any N or M sound is said through the nose. The mouth isn't open, right? It's going out your nose. So the air moves out and said it's a completely different sound. So listen first and then see if you can kind of hear what it sounds like. Button, kitten, satin, sentence. So it's the sound. One more time, I'll say it with a regular T and then with a glottal and see if you can hear the difference a little bit more clearly. Eaten, eaten, button, button, certain, certain. So again, if you use the regular T, eaten, button, certain, you'll sound perfect. You'll sound like a native speaker as well. It's just not the American accent. If you want to actually say it, this is again the explanation of the air gets stopped in your throat and then released through your nose, and that's what creates the difference in the sound. So if you actually do want to try practicing, see if you can say it. First, let's practice saying uh-oh, uh-oh. Feel in your throat where the air is stopping. Uh-oh, uh-oh. There's like see if you can make that sound. Uh-oh, Now say uh-oh. Take the sound, And if you say it faster, it's the glottal stop. All right, so practice at home. Repeat after me at home. Eaten, beaten, sweeten, satin, bitten, mitten, kitten, written, button, cotton, gotten, forgotten, frighten, frighten, certain, curtain. And then these ones are multi-syllables, so they're a little bit harder. I'll give you a little bit extra time. Botany, botany, accountant, accountant. So that one's hard because it's a glottal stop and then a held T at the end, right? Accountant. Important, same thing, glottal and then held. Important. Last one, maintenance, maintenance. So a little bit more practice in the sentences. Maybe I'll see if we can take maybe volunteers for one of the shorter sentences at the end, all right? I will shorten the curtain. I will shorten the curtain. All right, so repeat after at home. He has eaten the rotten food. He has eaten the rotten food. Number 3, I'm certain it was written in Britain. I'm certain that it was written in Britain. I've already forgotten the sentence. I've already forgotten the sentence. That cotton blouse has buttons. That cotton blouse has buttons. Martin Luther King and Bill Clinton are famous Americans. Martin Luther King and Bill Clinton are famous Americans. All right, so we'll take some volunteers just to say the first few sentences. They're a little bit shorter, it's a little bit easier. All right, so let's do Jack. Jack, if you want to try one of the first, like sentence 1 or 2.
Okay, so number 1.
Whichever you want.
Oh, so I will shorten the curtain.
Perfect. Great job on curtain. All right, Nyung Bao, do you want to try a sentence?
I choose 2.
Mm-hmm.
He has eaten a rowan fruit.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder. Try with a rotten, rotten. Mm. All right, Hyep, do you want to try?
Okay, number 3. I'm certain that it was written in film.
Great job. All right, one more. Trung Vinh Nguyen.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
I've already forgotten the sentence.
Perfect. That's a great job.
Thanks.
All right, so the glottal stop is actually fairly rare in English, but it is in a lot of proper nouns. So the Great Britain is one of the more well-known ones. Fountain, mountain, those names will all be the sound. All right, so we've finished all the ones that you have to pronounce. Now, just for your listening comprehension, so don't actually pronounce these words this way because it'll probably cause communication errors. But when you're listening to a native speaker, they will sometimes say words this way, and so it'll help you understand what words they're trying to say. So sometimes we have a silent T. We'll stop saying the T sound, especially when it's NT. So instead of hearing winter, we'll say winter. Instead of saying dentist, we'll say dentist. Instead of saying wanted, we'll say wanted. Interview, interview. International, international. Internet, internet. Identity becomes identity. We drop the T's. So again, that's only for listening comprehension. If you're saying the words, do use the regular T. So whenever there's an NT, it should be the regular T when spoken properly. But native speakers might say it very quickly and omit the T. So one more time, winter, dentist, wanted, interview, international, internet, and identity. The next time that we might drop the T is for consonant clusters. So consonant clusters are when there's several consonant sounds together. It's hard to say, especially when we add additional sounds. So when a word ending in CT adds an S to become plural, so fact, we'll say the T sound, but when we add an S, facts, it ends up emitting the T sound. So when native speakers will say that, it's just a k sound, no k, it's too hard. And the same thing with PTS, it's a little bit hard to say. So when we say concept, when we make it plural, it becomes concepts, just a piece, PS sound. And for STS, normally when it's ST, we'll say it very clearly, test, test. When we add the S to make it plural, we'll get rid of the T and have two S sounds. It gets like S, pause, S, tests, tests. So one more time, fact, facts, concept, concepts, tests, tests. So that's only for listening comprehension. We'll sometimes omit the T. All right, so we're doing pretty good on time. Just for review, the 5 different sounds in English for T are regular T, aspirated, t, t, t. That's like the cymbal, right? The clanging instrument. And that's when it's at the beginning of a word or the beginning of a stressed syllable. Top, table, atomic, cats, center. A slightly less aspirated T is after S, stop, stable, string. When the T comes at the end of a word and is followed by another consonant, we use the held T. So at the end, we don't fully release the air, we just stop the air. Cat, coat, late, past, basket. The flap T, becomes a D sound, and we use that between 2 vowels, 2 voiced vowel sounds, or a vowel and a voiced consonant, the R, L, or M sound. Atom, city, 40, kettle, matter, bottom. Now you might notice atomic and atom. Why are they pronounced differently? And again, that's stress. So at the beginning of a stress syllable, we always use the clear sound. But when the syllable is not stressed, it can become a D sound. It can become blurred with the other sounds. So atomic, atom. And I think I wrote down a few others. Some other sounds like reality versus realistic, priority, prioritize. So the same spelling on the word, if it becomes a stressed syllable, it will change to a clear t sound. And then the last one is the glottal stop. And that the air is redirected through the nose for the N sound. So an unstressed N syllable becomes an button, kitten, satin, sentence. All right, so we can try some volunteers to read these sentences. So each one will have a different pronunciation. It might be a regular T, it might be a flap T. See if you can guess what's correctly. All right, let's do ta, tan, B1. If you want to try the first sentence.
Yes.
Hi, do you want to try sentence 1?
Yeah. Kitty, kitten.
Perfect, yeah. So the first one is held, kit, because it's at the end. The second one is has a vowel before and after, so it becomes a D sound, kitty. And the last one has an EN, the unstressed N sound, so it becomes kitten, the glottal stop. It's a great job. All right. Let's have, is it Ziabao? Do you want to try the second sentence?
Yes. It will. It will. That is. That's.
Perfect. Right. So the first one, it's a T at the end of a word followed by consonant. So it becomes held. It will. When it's a contraction, it's an L sound, which is the voiced sound. So it's followed by 2 voice sounds. It becomes a D sound, the flap D. That is starts with a vowel, so that is, right? That is. And the last one, whenever T comes before an S, it's said very clearly, that's. All right, so let's have Hiep Tran. Do you want to try the next one?
Yes. 1440. $60. $16. 1770. 5:50 p.m.
Perfect. And it really does help understanding if you use the dy sound. So that was great. So remember 14, 17, any of the teens will have the sound, the teen, and any of the 10s, 40, 60, 70, 50 will have the dy sound, the D. All right, Kyrgyzstan, you want to try the next one?
Yes.
This one's a little bit harder. It has to do with stress.
Okay. Photo. Photography. Reality. Realistic.
Perfect. You got the last one. Great. So the first one, photo, is pronounced with a flap D because there's no stress on the do. But the second word, the stress is on the TO, so it becomes a clear T. So photo, photography. You got the last one. Great. Reality, realistic. The tick is stressed, so realistic.
Fine.
All right, so we have Trump joining us. Trump, do you want to try number 5?
Okay, number 5. I can't go to Great Britain this year, but I can go next winter.
Perfect. Yeah, so there's going to be can't
That is,
said clearly. Great Britain has the 2 glottal stops, but is held, T. And then if you wanted, you could mispronounce winter and pronounce it winter, or you can say it correctly as you did, winter. Right? So naturally it might sound like I can't go to Great Britain this year, but I can go next winter. All right, the last one's really hard. So Jerry, do you want to try it?
Yes. The dentist has forgotten the metal kettle in the kitchen.
Perfect. Great job. Yeah. So sometimes a native speaker will eliminate the T sound. So dentist. The dentist has forgotten glottal the metal kettle in the kitchen. Great job. All right, we can take a couple more volunteers. All right, Tran Ha, sorry. Do you wanna?
Yes.
You can do any of them you want to do.
Okay. Number 6. I like
Number 6.
The dentist has forgotten the metal kettle in the kitchen.
Perfect. All right, Ha-an. Again, you can try whichever one you want to do. Oh, maybe not. All right, how about Fat Boo? Do you want to try?
Yes, I will go number 5.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't go to Great Britain this year, but I can go next winter.
Perfect. Great job. All right, I think that's all the time that we have, but I did want to share with you guys, you can take a maybe like a screen grab. These are some of the resources that I looked at. Master at the American Accent, Rachel's English is a really great channel. She does a lot of good explanations of sounds. I really like Sounds American. They have really great graphics. They show really good graphics on the mouth position, great explanations and practice. The Rollins Center for Language and Literacy 44 Phonemes is a YouTube channel or a YouTube video. And they have a very up close picture of a woman's mouth. And she's saying all different 44 sounds in English language very clearly. And you can see her mouth position. So it's a really great video to watch. All of these resources were really helpful. The 3 that are highlighted are the ones that I really liked and I've used or referenced for classes. So if you want to take a picture, I'll give you a few seconds and then maybe we can take a group photo if everybody wants to turn on their camera so that we can take a group photo. And feel free, if you have any questions, feel free to write a comment. I'll try to scroll all the way down. All right. So my colleagues can let me know if they were able to do the screenshot. I see some people's faces. But that's all all that we have time for today. Next week, Tuesday, we're going to do the R and L sound, which is really hard, especially at the end of words. And then we'll also next Thursday do vowel sounds, difficult vowels. Hopefully you can join us for those, or we'll see you at the reading group. If you have any suggestions for the program or sounds that you want to, different type of programs that you want, feel free to send us an email. You can just reply to the email that had the meeting information for today. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. All right.